Well, hi guys again. Just a quick update on the Traxxas boat and whatnot, what I've been doing over the last few days. I actually out boating this morning in 55 mph winds. It was really good. But tonight I'll come home and I've been doing the easy stuff first, you know, the mechanical kind of stuff. And I've got to say, I'm really pleased with this engine. I've taken it apart and the bearings are perfect. I can hold it on compression, you know, as long as you like. It won't fall, you know, it looks like it's hardly been used, you know. Got the easy start on there. I need to get some more screws. A lot of screws are good, they're like stainless steel, but a few of them, like these ones on here that hold the starter on, they're just normal steel, so I've got to get rid of them and try and better steel. But, you know, didn't clean up as good as I wanted it, but, you know, it's not bad. You know, we've got the little logo on there, TR. X15. You know, this water-cooled head here, that was full up with like, you know, like encrusted. I think it may have been used in salt water or something. I don't, you know, I'm not sure about that. But if you run them in fresh water, we just, you know, they're fine. But if you run them in salt water, you need to flush them out with a little bit of WD-40 or wash them out with a hose. You know, connect the hose up and just give them a, you know, a pump through. But I mean, that compression on that engine is absolutely fantastic. I can't believe, for once in my life, I bought an engine that's old and it is in really good condition. I mean, the bearings are perfect. There's not a bit of rust on or anything. So, you know, I've just given it a good clean up and it should be good to go. I don't know if any of you guys know, but this has got a clutch in here, but it's got a leading shoe clutch, which I'm not sure is right. I've been watching a lot of videos of these boats, and they all seem to cavitate a lot, which I think I can adjust. But also, I'm wondering if the clutch is not run the right way, because, you know, I'm used to running a trailing clutch on everything I've got. I've never had a leading shoe clutch, so I don't know whether that's right. You know, can't seem to get a manual for this. You get operating instructions, but it don't. You know, can't see an exploded view or how things actually go together, but that's how it came out, and I don't think it's been apart. You know, it all looks like it's all, you know, as was when it was built. There's not a bit of wear in any of the drivetrain. The clutch looks okay, but whether it is right, leading or trailing, I don't know. If anyone can let me know on that, I'll be grateful. Now, all the little bits and pieces, you know, like the prop shaft, they're all fine. You know, the bearings are fine. One thing with this, it's got the pressure free going to the tank, and it's also got pressure free going into the top of there, so it's supposed to oil the prop shaft as well. So, you know, but I don't know if that's going to work, because sometimes you need all the pressure you can get on these tanks, you know. So if it works, that's all good, because it'll save you oiling up the shaft, so that's a good thing. I mean, I worked on a tank and that's come up like new. It's like a brand new tank, you know. It wasn't too bad, just a bit of oil in it. What I am impressed with is like all the rubber parts. You know, these are the two ends that go on the exhaust, you know. I mean, these are the two caps that go on there, and they sort of push on there for the exhaust. Now, these are rubber. They've got like a hard insert in there, but they're rubber and they've not perished or anything. They're in really, really good condition, you know. I was really surprised by that. Normally everything rubber kind of dissolves or falls apart. Radio tray, you know, all good, nothing really wrong with it. The harness for the starter, which I'm probably going to do away with because I can make an onboard start for it. The tray, what the engine sits on, I've given it a good clean up. It's got a little bit of corrosion on. I might sort of go over it with a little bit of wire wool or something like that, I don't know. You know, the battery sits on this part here, but say I'm going to probably do away with that. What else we've got? Oh, here's that little ingenious little gear I was telling you about. See the way that's like that, and then when you flick the switch to return to shore, it actually flicks over like that and engages this gear into the drive gear on the motor on this gear here. It's a quite clever idea. Now, you know, I don't really know what to do with these motors, because, you know, they look so rough. If you know, it's no good painting them because the fuel's going to take the paint off or whatever. I'm kind of thinking maybe wrap something around it, or maybe see if I can buy a new motor. The little 400s, but I don't know quite. It's got a number on it, but I can't read it, and it's got a flux ring around it as well. So I don't know. You know, maybe I can just give it a good wire brush or something. I don't know, but I want to make that look, better than that. The one on the starter is not too bad. Look, that's quite tidy. The servos, you know, I said I've got a Futaba one. That's fine. The other one, the casing's got broken lugs on it and things, you know, so they've got to be changed. But you know, all the little rudder and parts, they all seem to be fine. You know, they've had a bit of bashing in their time, I think. Maybe I, you know, can straighten things out. That one looks like it's been sitting. Hang on, where are we? Look, whether I can get another one of them, I don't know. Might be able to warm that up and straighten that out. I don't know. It's you know, that'd be work in progress. If not, I'll make one out of alley or something like that. This is the part that holds the tank. So that the tank slides in, and then you lock this up on top of the boat. Universal couplings. They all looks like they've already been run. There's nothing, no play in anything whatsoever. I reckon it's only like been run once really. Now, the other thing, if I can find it over here, is the way the return to shore switch works. I mean, you're going to laugh at this because I couldn't believe it myself, but hang on. Right, can you see these two little funny looking things here made out of copper? Yeah, you can guess it, can't you? This had a wire to there and a wire to the other side, and the way it works, this was connected up to the return to shore motor, and the way it worked, if I can get a servo horn, was this was on the throttle servo, so it would work, you know, the throttle, and then when you wanted to return to shore, it would actually turn like that, and then it would push those two terminals together, and it must have sparked, and it actually, you know, energise the return to shore motor, and off you come back to shore, hopefully. But you know, it didn't seem that long when these were out, but that is such an old-fashioned way, isn't it, to have the servo pressing on two bits of, you know, copper to make contact. But I suppose it worked, you know, back in the day. But I'm probably going to put a little speed controller in that just to, you know, I don't think that's marvellous. I know some people might say, well, that's the way it was, put it back the way it was, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. That's we'll put that on the back burner and we'll see. Just one thing I found while we're here is I've got a little crack somewhere in this. This is the return to shore motor bracket. Yeah, can you see it there? Look, there's a crack goes right across it. So I'm going to see if I can use my alley welding or soldering, whatever you want to call it, to restore that. I think I can. You know, it's gone right the way through that side. This one's okay. You know, it's where it's been bent, but there you go. Prop shaft, you know, is okay. You know, that'll clean up nicely. And the other thing, I can see it here, is this is like a Lexan tray that goes inside the hull. Now, when I got all this out and the radio out and everything, the hull was absolutely like the back of it. I think the nitro fuel had been, you know, rested in there or whatever, and it was just absolutely falling apart. You know, the inner hull. The outer hull was fine, but the inner hull was absolutely just snapping and breaking. It was like such a mess, you know. And that goes under the radio tray, so I can't see it. So what I think this is supposed to do is this goes like double-sided tape all the way around here on the hull, and it's supposed to collect the oil or what the nitro fuel, whatever, and you know, help, you know, protect the bottom of the boat. So I'll give that a clean up. And talking of the hull, I've done a little bit of work on it. I'll see if I can get it. Right, here it is. Let's put the camera up a little bit and see what. Right, now I'm sure you can remember what this was like. You know, I'd never seen anything like it really. It was cracks in it everywhere, and I never thought, I think it was this side, wasn't it? you know. I mean, there was a great big hole in the top here. It was broken from there all the way out. If you watch the other video, this was broken right out here. And there was cracks all the way down these sides. I think there was one there. And I think there was all the way down here, there was cracks. And all the way along this, you know, this edge here. Get back a bit. All the way along this edge here was all cracked and broken, you know. And like I say, the inside of the hole, now the front of it, you know, that's okay. But when we come to the back here, this was absolutely rotten, you know, it was just falling apart. So what I've done, you're going to laugh, I actually cut up a little ABS model car shell, believe it or not. I think it was a Peugeot. I mean, it, you know, here's some of the bits of it, you know, but it's ABS and it's kind of the right thickness. So this part in here is the actual part of the roof. So what I've done is I've actually folded it, heated it up and folded it to the shape of the hole, and then I've glued it in there. Now the glue I'm using, I know I'll keep going on about it, but this glue here, EMA, now it's a plastic weld. Now when I got this boat, I thought I'd just try a bit on one of the cracks, so I kind of pushed it together and I just painted a little bit of that on, and it sort of grabbed it, and I left it for sort of half an hour, and whatever I did, I couldn't actually break it again. It was sort of melted, you know, the two parts of plastic together. So I've used this on the bottom of the hole, like on the bottom here where it was really bad, and I've also I've got another super glue type Sino which I've put in there. It's called Mitre-Bond, and it just finishes off, you know, makes it some kind of waterproof, and it's a very good glue. I had to, it was cracked up the side of the hole, both sides here, so I've made two ABS plates up and I've glued them on there, well, you actually, you know, welded them, whatever you want to call that. This side was okay, so nothing wrong with that side. You know, it was, say, the big hole, I'm sure you remember that great big hole in there, and all along this edge there was nothing holding this together. This all came away and the cracks went all the way down to the bottom of the hole. Now to me it feels fairly strong. I'm hoping it is. I've managed to get some glue inside and some bits and pieces inside. What I've actually done with it is I've used that EMA glue, and then I've actually used a little bit of like plastic filler to go over the top here and all that, to blend that in. And then I've used some quite coarse sandpaper and roughed up the hole, and I've used some plastic primer, which I always use a good plastic primer like that. Just normal, was it Rust-Oleum? Yeah, I just used that on the plastic. And if you leave the plastic nice and rough, you know, I know it don't look great, but if you leave it nice and rough, that primer really eats into the plastic and gives you a really good base for painting. I used to sort of rub them down really smooth with wet and dry, you know, and whenever I painted it, it never seemed to want to stick on. But someone said to me, if you use a fairly coarse sort of sandpaper, put lots and lots of coats of primer on, leave it for a few days, and then wet and dry the primer down, it will give you a good base to paint. Now, the other thing with a paint is I haven't found yet a fuel-proof paint. I mean, I must have tried every type of paint there is. I mean, what I do now is I take it to a proper painter's, you know. I've got a mate of mine who paints stuff, and then we do it in like a two-part paint, you know, like an epoxy water-based paint, and you know, the fuel don't touch it, it's perfect. But some years ago I restored a Crochet Jetstream, lovely boat, and I thought to myself, I'll try and do it in enamel. So I used proper enamel paint, and I put the decals on, I put enamel lacquer over the top, and whenever a bit of, you know, fuel touches it, it takes it off, you know. I mean, I I don't really, I would like to do it myself, but I've used the Spectrum. You remember the, I think it was Spectrum paint years ago, which was quite good, but whatever they've done to it now, I forget what it's called, glue lines now or something, they've changed it. I've used it on helicopters and stuff, and the first couple of times you run it and it just falls off. And if you read on the can, it doesn't say fuel proof, it says fuel resistant. Well, it's not very resistant, and if you spend a lot of time restoring a model like this, you don't really want all the paint falling off it as soon as you run it. So I'm thinking of, I don't have to paint the bottom, I'm thinking of kind of, if I can get the top painted, I'm thinking of doing like a vinyl wrap or something around the bottom, similar to what's on the box art. I'm a bit of a box art man myself, and I'm thinking maybe I can put the vinyl on there. I mean, I'm really pleased the way that's come out. You can't even see a join, you know, it's absolutely perfect, that is. So I really want to get a nice finish on there, but I know the nitro, because like we always run 25% nitro or something, and that just eats the paint, you know. But if I can find something that to protect it, some sort of lacquer or whatever to go. So if any of you guys out there know, so let me know once and for all, is there a paint that I can use that will be fuel proof? It'd be greatly appreciated. Now I've also, where is it? Right, I repaired this part. Remember this part? It had all this was missing out of it. That was all broken. What I've done is I've glued, again welded with the plastic weld, a piece of ABS in there, and then in the top there like that, and then that left like a cutout in there. And what I've done is like a jigsaw puzzle. I made like a template out of paper, and then I pressed, cut out a piece out of ABS and pushed it in there, and I've welded that in there as well. I've just noticed I've got a couple little blowholes in there, which I'm going to have to see in there, so, you know, unless I'll put vinyl away or something. I had to strengthen all this round here, because that was all bad. But, you know, honestly, it's all lovely and strong now, you know, it's fine. I'm going to clean up the inside with something or other, you know, and I'm quite happy with that. I mean, I haven't actually tried that on there, but I mean, she looks a lot better than I did the other week, or a few days ago I think it was. But you know, the hole looks quite nice now. It's quite and it's very strong, you know. I tried twisting it and whatever. If you've seen the weather I was running my boats in today, they've got to be strong, because I was actually leaping out of the water. You know, I think we got up to 55-mile-an-hour winds, but you know, I love all that. It's great fun. But like I say, this is nice and strong now. I think it's as strong as it ever was. And you know, the thing now is kind of the top coat of paint. Like I say, if anyone can help me like fuel proof it, or some sort of paint or something like that, I'll be happy. And I'm so pleased with this little motor. You know, the first time I've ever got one that's actually, you know, going to be not cost me a penny, you know, and the work, no work whatsoever, just to clean up and go. And if anyone can sort of say to me, you know, what I can do to actually clean that up, or you know, I've got some ideas. I'm not sure yet whether I can buy a new motor, whether I can get that pinion off there and just buy myself a new 400. I think it's a 400 side motor. I don't know, but the rest of it, you know, I'm really pleased with. So I just thought I'd let you know. That's where I am at the moment. I was running my 6-wheeler today as well, and that's a fantastic thing. You know, it's just, I can run that thing now, and it's just great fun. So the old touring engine's going really well. I kind of don't want to take my nice shiny black one out, the 407, until it dries up a bit. We've got a lot of rain and wind and mud, but the 6-wheeler just laps it up, and it's great fun. So alright guys, maybe in the next one this might be all put back together. And any advice again on the painting of the thing, I'd really like to hear from someone for once and for all. I mean, this is the remains of the Peugeot body that I actually cut up, you know, but it was good because it had a lot of, you know, got lots of curves and little bits on there, so I could fill it all in and put it nice and straight, and I've roughed it all up. And once you run that, you know, if you, that plastic weld, if you was to sort of try and glue these two bits together and just butt them together like that, you just put a tiny bit of that plastic weld on there and just let it wick in. It's like water, it's so thin. and then it will just join that, and you would not get that apart again. It will break somewhere else. You would not get that apart, you know. I'm fed up with using epoxy glues. They don't, you know, epoxy to me now, it just seems to sit on the surface. You know, I've got JB Welds and all different types of, you know, epoxies, and I guarantee you, if I have to glue that together with that, you can just pull that apart, no problem. So, you know, I'm not a fan of it anymore. If you can melt it together, you're actually welding it and melt it together, you're making a really strong joint. If you use epoxy, it's just sitting on the top and it'll come apart. So, anyway, I'm going to sign off now, guys, and have a look in my next video. Subscribe if you want, and we'll see how this thing goes together. I'm pleased with the body on it and all the parts and that. So I think this is going to go really well. You know, I'm quite happy with it. So I'll sign off now, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.